Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here in the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel and DKPittsburghSports.com. Chris Halleck here to break down yet another. This is the first time I think I'm doing a repeat. Another Chalk Talk here on Patrick Queen. I went through a number of different things that I wanted to possibly look at in this game. Could have been, I really wanted to kind of look at the red zone struggles. Really wanted to further dissect that two-point attempt. Nick Herbig made a phenomenal play, but I just couldn't help myself in looking deeper into this Patrick Queen game. Led the team with 10 tackles, had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. Just a huge game for him, and his play really, like, it was the centerpiece of what the defense did. And this first play that I'm doing, like I'm going to show, like, really isn't going to be very much of anything, especially when it comes to Queen, at least on the surface. But this is just something that I really want to illustrate of different things that he's brought, the different things that he's doing in this defense right now that is really allowing, it's taken away the middle of the field being an albatross, which is the way it was before. And so here we go. The Ravens, Steelers here are going to be in cover 3, and I'll draw this up here in a second. But the Ravens, you know, Lamar Jackson, he tries to roll out. He tries to improvise, hit somebody downfield. Dante Jackson's on him. I think that was Deontay Johnson he tried to hit. So let's go back and try to kind of draw up what's going on here in terms of who's doing what. So this is your typical cover 3. So we've got, you know, cover 3, you've got your deep thirds, right? So you got this deep third, and this deep third. Porter's going to be back here. Safety right here is going to get right there, and Jackson's going to get that deep third. So there are your deep thirds, and then literally this is just everybody else, you know, taking care of, you know, these 4 zones right here. Okay? So this guy's got right there. Queen is right here. He's going to take this hook curl zone. Minka is going to come down here. He's going to take that hook curl zone. And then this guy's going to stay here in the flat. So that's essentially what you're looking at when it comes to cover 3. And we'll let this play out here a little bit. Now, obviously, when you look at, I'll kind of stop it right there. When you look at these 2 zones in the middle, right? These are the hook curl zones. So you're looking for the hook, you're looking for the curl, you're defending those zones. And so, you know, as you see Queen get back, and normally you don't like to see these guys this tight together, but shoot, man, like, they are running somebody smack dab in the middle of the field, and you need somebody on them, and Queen stays right there. And I will say this is a nice wrinkle for this defense to have both Queen and Minka be the hook curl defenders in cover 3. Allow somebody else, I think this is KZ back here, allow him to be this guy that covers the deep middle. KZ can do that pretty well. Having Porter and Jackson get these deep thirds over here, they can take care of that. And then that allows Minka to kind of get a little further down, have the potential to make plays. And then Queen, though. But Queen, I mean, he sees the guy. He locks him up. He can see that there's nobody else around. This guy's right here. Jackson's kind of more responsible for him. You know, this guy right here, he's, you know, being covered. You know, Porter's right there over the top. And I can't see who that is. He's got him underneath. So they got this pretty well. Now, granted, this eligible is right here. I mean, he's wide open. And so whoever this is has a long way to run to go get him. But, you know, those are some of the things you do with cover 3. Sometimes you want to, you know, the curl flat defender will, you know, drop a little further back, play more of the curl than the flat. You know, it just depends on how it's coached up. The little details inside each time they run cover 3. Not all cover 3 is the same. But Queen, this right here to me is what gets me excited about why this team is so good right now defending the middle of the field, is having that. Because Queen, like, I think I looked it up according to fantasypoints.com. The Steelers have the 3rd best passer rating against when teams are targeting anywhere in the middle of the field. Anywhere. whether it's short, intermediate, deep, doesn't matter. Like, they are not allowing quarterbacks to run up numbers to the middle of the field. And this right here is a big reason why, is because you have Queen, you have Minkah, and Queen is a big part of that. So when you see his coverage grade on Pro Football Focus, ignore it. He's doing a lot of good things. He's taking that away. It's just something to highlight for future games. And I didn't want to spend so much on one play, but really want to get you cognizant of that for future games. This right here is just unbelievable coverage by Patrick Queen. Linebackers should not be able to do this. And, there's all this talk about, linebackers shouldn't be on receivers, blah, 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 blah. So the Steelers are showing it looks like it's single high. So, and with, how tight this guy is, how tight that guy is, this looks like cover one, which would mean that this safety has got got the entire deep portion of the field to himself. What they end up running here is actually a Tampa 2. So you got the 2 high. He'll stay over here. This safety will go back here. And then you've got, cover 2 can be a number of different things, but essentially you've got 5 zones right there. And this deep middle zone right here usually plays a little further back. So, and the reason why it's called Tampa 2 is that it's a version of cover 2, but it kind of plays more like cover 3 because that deep middle portion, it almost acts as, the safety in the middle. And that's actually what Queen right here is responsible for. Queen is responsible for that deep portion, right? And who's running there? It's actually going to be right here, number 4, Zay Flowers. And watch Queen lock on him and run with Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, I don't know if you know this, he's a really, really athletic receiver. He can run. And watch Queen just match him. I mean, that's never open. That's never open. And then the Steelers aren't rushing a lot here. I mean, you can see they rush 4. Their pass rush gets there. Herbig gets there. They force the play. But even if Jackson had time to sit, I mean, look, he's looking in the middle of the field. He's looking. Queen has that taken away. He can't throw that. He wants to. Jackson wants to. He thinks at some point Flowers is going to get separation there. And you can, I mean, let's go back and watch. I mean, this is never open. And if it is, I mean, you got this guy who can lurk over the top and possibly get that. I mean, that is just never open. Queen runs with him the whole way. That's phenomenal stuff. The Steelers have not had a linebacker be able to do that since Ryan Shazier. They just haven't. That's a phenomenal play and coverage by Queen. Next play here. Here's Queen with a TFL. Just all over it. That's the one thing that I think that people want to forget about Queen, and that people were hard on him whenever he missed tackles, and whenever he wasn't making plays like this, he was missing tackles, and so it's like, well, he's not providing splash. Well, this is splash right here. This is good stuff. This is Jackson. As soon as he makes that pump, like Queen sets, he's like, okay, this is probably what it is, especially because this guy's starting to leak out, and okay, like this looks like a screen, so I'm just gonna go, and just the closing speed by the time, and you get a better angle of it from the end zone view. Queen, I mean, again, just his reaction time. I mean, there's the pump. He's already running, so he already sees this. I mean, this lineman's starting to run out, so this looks like a screen of some kind. So he already thinks, like, even though that's a pump, he's like, I'm not buying anything else. And by the time he catches it, he tries to start turning upfield. Queen's already there, and he just it's done. It's over. Reaction time, closing speed, it's all there for Queen. Next play here. This is Queen and run defense, and I mean, I think he gets in on the tackle. I don't know if he was actually credited for this, but I mean, when it came to stopping Derrick Henry, and I'm going to stop it real quick just to let you guys know. Okay, like Derrick Henry had 65 rushing yards on 13 carries. You're like, oh, that was a pretty decent day. They just needed to run with Derrick more. Well, just remember, 31 of those 65 yards, nearly half of those yards, came on one carry. So for those other 12 carries, nothing. They contained Derrick Henry very well. And the defensive line played really well, but then you had little things like this because, this, I don't know if you guys know this, but number 42, Ricard, that's a pretty dang good fullback. He's a really good blocker. He's really good as a pass catcher out of the backfield too. And Queen, he's got to fill that gap. And instead of, allowing Ricard to come up, block him, seal him off so that Henry can kind of make his way through or do whatever else, Queen just stands up and just completely shuts down Ricard, and it helps clog the hole and gives Henry nowhere to go. And then he actually comes off the block and it looks like he helps make the tackle. Just boom. Now that's phenomenal run defense right there. You don't have to worry about getting off blocks when you do things like that. I mean, that's that's not easy to do. There's a little hole there. It's kind of there. And good on Ogunjobi there for, getting Henry to slow down a bit. But then, who's that? Is that 97 right here? Yeah, that's Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward also had a phenomenal game. Hayward gets off, and he's able to, get an arm on Henry. But Queen stands up Ricard right there. Boom. Boom. And just that hole gets filled up, and Queen's able to get off the block and help make a tackle. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff by Queen. Cover 3 here for the Steelers. This one, they definitely kind of want back, but Queen, again, showing that closing speed. Now, let me kind of draw this up. Obviously, this is pretty self-explanatory. You got this, and then you got, okay, so there's the deep. They're your deep 3 right there. Those, they're going back for cover 3. And ultimately, 90, TJ Watt, he's going to be the curl flat defender over here. And then Herbig, he's going to be the curl flat defender over here. It doesn't look like it at first because they kind of look like they're rushing. But, you see TJ, he's starting to go back out in that curl flat. And Herbig, he kind of is doing the same thing, but he, sees that eligible be able to get over there, so he's just kind of sticking with him. Honestly, now, again, I'm going to put a disclaimer on this because I don't want to walk into the locker room tomorrow and have a player tell me, you don't know what you're talking about, Chris. I don't know how this is being coached up. I'm just based off of what I know about cover 3. It would look to me as if Queen were this, was covering that hook curl zone, and then Cam Sutton here would be covering this hook curl zone. And that's what it looks like to me. Could be wrong. Happy to be wrong. But, I don't know what Sutton's doing here. To me, that's what that looks like. Queen is back in that zone. And him being underneath is semi-taking this away a little bit. He ends up running a kind of a really deep out here. So either way, he's going to be taken away by Jackson. But this guy right here, I think it's Bateman, runs a little wrap there. And if Sutton is back here in this hook curl zone, then that's not nearly as open. And of course, Minka is just taking away this deep middle. And then once Queen, realizes, okay, this is being played, and you can see Sutton start to run back. Queen sees this, but look at where Queen is by the time he realizes where the ball's going and the way he's able to close on that and lay a hit. He hits Bateman any harder, that ball could get jarred loose. And honestly, props to Rashad Bateman for holding on to that because look at this hit. That's a big boy hit right there. That's a big boy hit. Queen does a great job of hitting him clean, hitting him with the shoulder, not leaning with the helmet. making sure to avoid head contact. Hits him hard. But, I mean, just from that angle right there, I mean, you can see, like, Queen, you know, he's kind of got this zone. I don't know what Sutton's doing all the way down here. Again, I don't know how this is being coached up. It just looks to me like Sutton should be further back in that hook curl zone, and he wasn't, so that kind of led to a big play there. But, again, you can see what Queen can do in the middle of the field. You know, he can't do everything himself. You know, other guys have to do their jobs. But his ability to read and react like that, I mean, to be all the way right there, realize what's going on, pivot, turn. I mean, he's at the, 41-yard line when he pivots. That little pivot foot, that pivot foot's at the 41. He gets all the way back over, covers, you know, that. Obviously, you're going diagonal there too. But, I mean, that ball had some zip on it. And gets all the way there, makes a hit. I mean, from being the defender that's covering this hook curl zone over here to get over there and hit that guy, that's impressive stuff. I mean, and you get a little more lucky with the hit, you might jar that loose. Play of the game for Queen here. This is man coverage for the Steelers, and Queen comes off of his man, strips the ball, recovers his own fumble. Just phenomenal stuff from Queen. And he was super stoked for it and should be. And we'll kind of explain the bones of the play here, but this is definitely man coverage. But great job of Queen searching for the ball. They definitely teach that on the south side. I can tell you that right now from watching practice. They teach ball searching there. All right, so let's get back to the beginning of this play. This is man coverage. I mean, this is, you got that guy, he's got him. You got man coverage right there. I'm trying to say, is this cover 2 or is this cover 1? This is cover 1. Actually, yeah, it's cover 1 robber. Yeah. So this guy's coming down to rob this area. You got the one deep back here. So, again, looks like cover 2. Really cover 1 robber. But Queen right here, he sees Hill going out, and he's running that wheel route, and Queen's going to go ahead and cover that. And so he's there, but obviously he can, again, this is playing man coverage. I mean, he's responsible for him, like running this wheel route. And as we found out later with Peyton Wilson, like this was something that they they taught all week. They emphasized this all week when it came to the wheel route. Peyton Wilson ended up making a phenomenal play for the interception later in the game. Like, they were all over this stuff. They knew they liked to run it. Queen was on, but Queen still has the awareness to look back, to have his eyes back in this direction too, because he knows what Hill's running there. To see what else is happening, he can see, okay, it's going to likely. Let's react here. React, get up there. Make the play, strip the ball, recover the ball. I mean, that's easy stuff, man. He makes it look easy. That's not easy. That's not easy stuff. When you're responsible for a man and you're able to read and react to somebody who you weren't covering, that's good stuff. Phenomenal play by Queen. Just phenomenal stuff. I thought this was his best game as a Steeler. And we talked, last week about how well Queen played against the Commanders. He had a really great game against the Raiders. To me, he's just getting better and better every week. Queen, this play ended up not counting because they called Nick Herbig for offside, but really just want to showcase here, and this is the last play we're looking at, really just want to showcase Queen because we've talked about what he's doing in coverage, but this is the type of stuff he can do as a run defender. I remember seeing this stuff when he played with the Ravens last year. His ability to read and react this, I mean, he can already see, okay, this guy's coming in motion over in this direction. So he already, you can see he's already getting that step. He's already getting that step. This is probably going in this direction. And I mean, he is already around the tackle. The tackle has no chance whatsoever. This tackle is trying to get over and block him because 15 is going to down block on Herbig there. And then this tackle is going to try to get out there and get Queen, and he just can't catch him. It's just that speed. I mean, now granted, I mean, he tries to kind of help with the double team block there, help 70 get around and get that reach block, but you can't do that and try to get to Queen. It's not going to happen. Queen uses that speed to get around, and he gets back there. Again, Cam Hayward does a phenomenal. Cam Hayward just I think that's why he tried to get, because Cam Hayward, you don't want to necessarily leave him alone. He tries to get the reach block, and Cam just gets right around. That's also kind of a piss poor effort by 70. And Hayward's back there, but Queen using that speed, getting around the corner. That's not the typical route for a linebacker. They try to go more downhill, which is why that tackle is trying to get out there in space, because he's kind of anticipating this linebacker to kind of get lost in this wash. Well, not Queen. Queen's going to take his own route. He's going to use his speed, his athleticism, get around the edge there, and be able to make a tackle. This is the type of stuff that I expected to see from Queen whenever they signed him. I remember highlighting a play specifically where he went around the formation. That's not the typical path that a linebacker will take to try to get to the ball carrier, but he has the speed, the reaction, the instinct to be able to make these type of plays, and this is why he can be special. First few weeks of the season, everybody's freaking out because he's not making a whole bunch of plays. I'm like, you got to give him some time. This dude's learning the defense. He's trying. He's also the quarterback of the defense. He's showing his ability to make plays with stuff like this. And I know this. I know this play didn't count, but I really wanted to highlight it because it was worthy of highlighting, because it was indicative of the type of game that he had. He was all over the place. He was flying to the ball. He was reacting with his instincts. He was using his closing speed to make plays. He deserves more respect than what he's getting from the national media, from sites like Pro Football Focus. His coverage, I think his coverage grade is less than 60, which is kind of like their baseline. If you don't do anything in the game, whether it's good or bad, you get a 60 grade. And I think they say his coverage grade is 60. And just based off of this game alone, no way that's even the case. So anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Just, again, a phenomenal game from Queen. Deserves all the credit. And now it's a quick turnaround. That's why this was coming out a day earlier than it normally would. Quick turnaround. The Steelers play Thursday night against the Browns in Cleveland. I'll be there for it, along with DK and Greg McAfee here on DKPittsburghSports.com. So be sure to follow along with all of our coverage leading up to it, and, of course, from the game itself. So until we talk next time when we break down something from that game, I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. See you later.